And we're going to start with the narrative that's been around the Blues all season, and it's reared its head again. Michael Voss spoke about it post-match. He said, in no uncertain terms, it's what pisses him off the most about this team at the moment, which is that they keep fading out in the second halves. What is it about this team that means that they just can't carry on for all 4 quarters of a game?
Yeah, well, if we look at the numbers, I mean, these are typically your KPIs that you'd have up on the board as a coach, your clearances, your disposals, your inside 50s, but they got owned around the contest. So clearances and contested possessions, not only did they get owned there, but the spread as well from the Swans. So uncontested possessions and uncontested marks, -13, -10, which means not only were they losing it at the coalface, they were then getting beaten from that point to spread. So they're areas of the game that they really need to tidy up. Their second halves now, they've gone in leading at halftime 5 times, and sorry, the 5th time this game, they've been leading at halftime and lost the game. So they're genuine concerns for Michael Voss and his team.
5 out of 6 losses leading at halftime is incredible. And you can maybe account for those stats. One thing you probably can't account for is what Isaac Heeney did to them all throughout the game, but particularly in the second half.
Yeah, well, it was a career high 38 disposals and an equal career high 18 contested possessions. He had 9 clearances, and the only blemish on his game were those 5 behinds that we see there. 2 goals, 5. He could have made this a legacy game almost with the way that he was kicking. But the thing that just stands out when you watch these highlights is how clean he is. So his ground balls, his ability to get onto the footy, and if he takes possession, he takes it on one grab, and then he can either get boot to ball or handball it out to a teammate in a better position. And it really was a fantastic game from Isaac Heeney, and he's getting the Goods O'Loughlin medal there for the Marn Grook match that takes place in Dreamtime every year, and he was much deserving to be the winner of that one.
On a wet night too, an incredible performance from Heeney. There was an incident early in the game. Aaron Francis came off with a concussion, and it was probably the most contentious point of the week after what happened in the West with Lachie Schultz and the umpires not stopping the game. What did you make of the handling of this situation?
Yeah, so I want to just roll the vision to start with. So this is the initial incident, and looking at that live, you can't really tell a whole lot of what's gone on there. Obviously, Francis has come out injured, but from live, you wouldn't really know if that's a head knock or what it could be from there. So we have a look as this plays out. So we've sped this up, and the time that this goes, this entire passage of play, we see the trainer come over to him there, and he's still on the ground inside forward 50. This is still playing out, the game's still going on. So it was 84 seconds between that initial incident and then when we eventually get the behind kicked. So this is where we see the ball tracking go in the area of Aaron Francis, who's still there in the screen with the trainer being helped now. And then this ball goes through for a behind, and we hear the comms from the umpire say that there's an injured player and play needs to stop. So my point on this is, at the moment, there's a lot of commentary around the standard of umpiring, and that's purely around their decisions, their ability to make decisions. That has nothing to do with this element as well. And I simply think we're asking the umpires to do way too much in the game. So we're expecting them to get every decision right. If they take their eyes off that to check on an injured player and miss a decision, well, guess what we're showing in this clip? We're showing the miss of the decision or the things that they're not getting right. So I think it has to be a collective effort here. They need to be able to work through a solution. Yes, player safety is at paramount, but umpires also, their paramount is to get their decisions right and make the decisions in the correct timing. But umpires looking at that live, we watched the first clip. How are you supposed to tell from that it's a concussion or it's an injury that's been sustained? So for me, it needs to be trainers at the ground, doctors at the ground that have the authority to tell someone to stop the game. It has to be players, if they're in the vicinity of an injured player that they can see. Darcy Moore last week talks about how they were unsure why it wasn't stopped. You have the ability to tell an umpire to stop the game. You need to take that as well. It's on everyone. Boundary umpires should have the ability to radio to a field umpire to tell them to stop the game if they've seen it. And same as goal umpires, if they see something like that. It needs to be a joint effort. You cannot solely put this on the umpires with all the heat that they are copying at the moment, saying that the standard of umpiring is not good enough. But hey, we're also going to add this to your plate of what you need to look out for.
We have the ARC concussion spotters already. Do you think, in a sentence or less, that they need to be more assertive?
Potentially, if they can get a direct line. I don't know if they have a direct line to match day officials in the ability to then get that to the umpires like that to stop the game. And that's what we're kind of talking about here, the really proactive response to it. So there's something that needs to come of it, but I don't think we can solely put this on the field umpires to stop the game and see that there's an incident.